All right. So, what's up, guys? We've got a guest today.
Hello.
Oh no, everybody being shut down. There's no way this could ever air.
I've replaced Travis. I am now the owner of Minty Gym. Hello.
Oh, we're going under.
we're going under, guys. There's lots of podcasts.
Farewell.
The podcast will stick around. The store's going under. All right. So, how's everybody doing? How's our weekend?
So for those of you that don't know, we are located in Kansas, which is got its pros and cons, depending on what perspective you're looking at. But at this point of the year, it has this brutal humidity that just doesn't go away. Thankfully, last night it rained, which means that it's nice and crisp, high 60s, low 70s this morning. But like Saturday morning, it's beautiful out. The sun's out. The temperature gauge reads 84, 85. Get in the car to take my daughter to a soccer scrimmage. Put my chair down, sit down. Approximately 11 seconds later, I need to go change my entire outfit because I am soaked through because it was 4,000% humidity and apparently I am as cool as a glass of ice cold soda. And I could just see the water start like forming on my arm.
I mean, that's just like a normal day at Minty Gym for you. You leave work here every day like that. Huh?
Yeah, right. I work that. All that sweat. So it takes a ton out of me when I just sweat so much. And I wasn't doing anything. I'm sitting in a bag chair, one of those U-line chairs. I'm sitting in a U-line chair, watching my daughter run around on a soccer field. She's working her tail off, and I'm sweating. And I looked at her and I was like, "Man, that was a rough 45 minutes, wasn't it? Let's go home now." Or we went to Target, and the doors open up to Target, the whoosh, and that cold air hits you, and you got all the humidity and sweat, and it's like, oh, it's 30 degrees in here, and this is wonderful. I'm never gonna leave this place ever again.
All right, so welcome in, guys. Welcome on in. Again, episode 27. We got a couple things to talk about today. Some things happened over the weekend. We had a hideous, terrible-looking Mew revealed.
Whoa.
We'll talk about that and get everybody's thoughts on that, how we feel about the design, and the pull rates on that, potentially. We've got Storm Emaralda dropping this Friday, which we still haven't seen any SIRs for. We got a couple illustration rare reveals earlier on, but still no SIRs. And then at the end, we've got some stuff going on in Japan with some facial recognition being implemented into some of the stores potentially here. We've got maybe some regulation coming down the pipeline from Japan on the trading card market, so that'll be fun to talk about. And then we'll wrap it up with some Tinker Time. So let's jump into it. All right, let's kick it off here. 30th anniversary new rarity Mew sniped on stream and leaked over the weekend, along with a ton of other stuff getting ripped on stream, which we should probably also talk about. How do we feel, guys, about people ripping stuff 2 months early and we still haven't even seen any reveals for Storm Emeralda, which drops in 3 days?
They're from Australia, right?
Yeah.
One of them was. One was the UK, I think.
UK. Have
Yeah.
been any US streamers?
I don't think so. Just saw this morning, Rattle Pokemon tried to hunt down one of the guys to interview him and see how he got products early. But of course, the guy's like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." Did not want any part of it.
Of course.
But yeah, it's getting ripped super early, and then this weird looking Mew got pulled over the weekend. I think it's just an ugly card. I think it looks like Temu, Digimon made Etsy stuff. But that's just me personally. But yeah,
it looks better than Darker SR. But
Ooh.
that might be true. That might be true if you have no taste and you're not cultured. But it's weird because everybody was back and forth on this thing being real, fake, no 30 stamp on it. Yeah. It's a BGR rarity, apparently, which stands for blue, green, red. There's supposedly 3 different versions of these cards, assuming it's Mew, Mewtwo, and Pikachu, I'm assuming. Chewy made a good point about they kind of missed the mark there. It could have been Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise. But, yeah, These, I think, are the 1 in 10,000 pack pulls that Anon was talking about that we discussed. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago, Kraus? Or I've talked a lot already. I'm gonna let you guys kind of go.
Well, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. We could just run the math real quick. It was a case of boosters, right? Case of boosters.
It's all been binder collection.
Case of binder collections. Okay, so you get 6 packs in a binder collection.
Is it 5 or 6? I think it's 5. But that's the other thing. That's the only thing that's been ripped over the weekend, and those don't release until October.
Yeah.
So they could change it like they did with the booster bundles. Yeah. But binders are 5 packs. Okay. So October 2nd, right? Okay, so you got 5 packs, you got a case. Case is 6, so you got 30 packs. I don't know if the guy was. I didn't watch any of the streams live, right? So I don't know if the guy was. I don't know if the guy was selling them. I don't know if people. I think I saw a quick text interview with the guy that now owns the Mew, and I think he's a French dude. Yeah. And so he was obviously selling the packs. Okay, let's assume they weren't selling from market, right? Market's whatever, depends on what product you're buying. But let's say he was selling them for $100.
Yeah.
So you have $7,200 of top line gross revenue from selling all 72 packs. That's your number, right? You're going to get in trouble. Like, they're going to come after you. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea or that Pokemon's not behind it. That's reasonable. Also, Jack and I were having this conversation. Like, I mean, generally speaking, 2 things that make life really easy is recognizing that don't ever assume something is like intentional when it can be properly explained away as stupidity, right? So like, that's a good way to live your life. When someone else does something, they're probably not trying to be mean. They're probably just acting ignorant.
You hear that, Joey? You should probably listen to that a bit.
and then
that every day.
Yeah. And then the other one is all things being held equal, the simplest solution, the easiest solution is simplest solution. The basic solution is generally the one that's right. Right. And so those are philosophical, whatever. That being said, it makes sense that Pokemon would hand out a couple of these to drum up hype. Maybe that makes sense. We can come back to that in a second. If these got ripped off a production line somewhere, right? If these got stolen and sold on the dark web for crypto that's unchaseable or whatever, for what? Like, it's $7,200. You're going to pay a 12% fee. And maybe it's 100 euros, so it's more, whatever. But you're going to pay 12%, plus you got to ship, which means that when you ship out these packages to product that's before its street date, now you have a physical thing that is tied with your address on it, okay? Right? And so then somebody's going to show up at your door. It's probably not today. It's probably in the future, because businesses don't exist in the moment. They exist over a long time. And they may not do anything right now, but there's a world where you build a case where it's like, hey, because you released this early and you were the one that revealed to the world this BGR rare and not us. You cost us $1.4 billion of unearned revenue, and we're going to now take you to court for corporate espionage, whatever. It could go really bad for this dude. And he was on Whatnot.
He was on Whatnot. Do you guys remember a guy named Seismic Shock who was running around on YouTube for a while? He caught some fire pretty quick, kind of jumping up. And part of his rise to popularity was he got Silver Tempest early and admitted to it being stolen product on YouTube. But I tell you that to let you know that a few months after that video released, he had some PIs come knocking.
Yep.
Like, it's very real. Pokemon doesn't really mess around.
Well,
if they want to come after you, they will.
And that's the thing, right? Like, is it a big enough deal? Are they going to come after you? Are you willing to risk it for $7,000?
Yeah.
So
just for some attention.
Yeah. You and I had this conversation probably 6 months ago, right? We were going to do a big trade. I went and got some cash from the bank, and you always joke. Ollie always makes this joke when I bring cash in for a trade and I've got it in my hand. He just kind of pulls out the side of his pocket and is like, you just put it right there.
One day I'll go in my pocket and I don't lose anything.
And so I asked him the question, as you do with coworkers, I was like, how much is enough for you to throw away your entire character, throw away everything that people have known here for, and break the law and run away? What's the number? And he's like, there is no number, right? That's a conversation for a different day. There is a number. He's just too much of a wuss to think about it. It's probably like $12. But
I saw him stealing the water bottle the other day.
But in that, guys, would you be willing to sell shady product for gross revenue of $7,200?
No, I wouldn't. But here's the other side, I guess, is like we don't know what's going on with this guy. How much credit card debt or whatever he's got going on or whatever pinch he might be in that he's trying to get out of. And
fair.
I'm not justifying or defending him, but I'm saying people do when they're desperate, people do stupid things.
So then let's eject out of it from his side and let's just assume that Pokemon's behind it. What are they doing? Like, what good was this?
I don't think Pokemon's behind this, but
I think they do more of a sponsored stream or like they get someone more.
They would. You could. You know. Yeah. Exactly. You know how many eyes you could get if you. I play this mobile game, Dragon Ball Legends, and they have this like Legends information that they do like once every 2 weeks, and they hype it up, and because they're always dropping new characters or whatever. Like Pokemon could do that same thing. How many people watch the Pokemon Day live streams or the Winds and Waves reveals that me and you did a live stream for? How many people were tuned into that stuff because they were talking about it, letting you know it was going to be revealed? They could easily draw more hype doing it that way.
They probably don't want these low-res images of their cards floating around too. They would rather have like nicer images.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, like Pokemon releases their cards when there is a TCG event, like TPCI, right? And
that's
so,
true too.
Like we haven't had one. There isn't one. There isn't like
Worlds.
a forum. Yeah, but Worlds is after Storm Emeralda, right? So
In Japanese, yeah.
In Japan,
that's what I'm saying. So there hasn't been a spot for them to be able to release. You know, usually they do their championships, and when they have their championships, like in between Top Cut or somewhere, they release a couple cards. That's where we get a couple views of the cards because they don't do press releases and they don't do much releasing information that way. So this feels weird. It's a footnote. It's an asterisk that those who are in the hobby are going to be able to talk about it, you know, a year or so from now or whatever. It's not that big of a deal, in my opinion, for the long term of this. But it's one of those things that it's just like, man, that was weird. And the main point is something that a couple people on Twitter and even Jack brought up, which is Poke Beach has a Growlithe and has a Groudon. And the Groudon is like, I mean, I'm sure it's cool or whatever. It's got 4 retreat. It looks like it's a low res card. I'm sure it'll be cool in person. I'm sure it'll be great, right? But that's the only cards we have from Storm Emeralda. Like we don't know what the SAR looks like.
It drops in 3 days.
I'll be honest. The thing that I'm most excited about, I was just telling Jack about this. There is a what is it? A Nidoran that is done embroidery style. Yeah. That's an uncommon.
Yeah, that's super cool.
That I'm looking cool. You know,
hold on. Let's not get into Storm Emeralda because that's the next stop. Before we jump into Storm Emeralda, I just want real quick your guys' thoughts on the design of this new card. Like, how do you feel about this weird looking green Mew?
Green.
The Mew's green. I mean, I might be colorblind, but
I think
Twitter says it's green.
I don't think it's green.
He's green. I mean, Vice has an article on it. What are we doing?
Oh, yeah, maybe it's kind of green.
Yeah, he's green. If you invert it, though, he's pink. Yeah. Fun
Great.
fact.
Yeah,
So it's hollow.
It's ugly. Come on.
It's hollow, right? Like you can see the shine.
Yeah, it's got like the chromatic feel with texturing.
I have a feeling it's going to look insane in person. It kind of reminds me of the Legendary Collection Reverse Hollow foiling. Just how this image looks, I can't tell. It's a low-res image.
Fireworks?
Yeah, kind of like how the texturing, and it has more texturing, the foiling. I don't know about like the holographic on the Mew, but like the purple behind it looks sick. So it's gonna be one of those where
the Mew itself looks like Temu Digimon to me. I don't know.
I'll reserve it. I'll reserve my opinions till I see it in person.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a question of whether it's fake or not. I feel pretty good that it is. I mean, it's weird that it's missing the stamp, but I don't know, man. I don't like the way that I'm trying to think of what the artist's name is.
It's the same artist that did the futuristic Mew.
Yeah, Yoshi Rotten.
Yeah.
Yoshi Rotten. So it's attributed to him. I don't know his cards. So initially I'm just like almost everybody in the United States, ooh, change. Ew, different, right?
Yeah.
So I think when we see them, they'll be cool, just like the Black Bolt, White Flare, Red Victinis, and the monochromatics, right?
That's fair.
We got to see them. They may end up being $600 cards, all of them. This may be a $2,000 card, or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't have an issue with it. Like Ollie said, I'd rather wait to pass judgment till I see it.
Not me. I'm shooting first. Ask questions later.
The difficulty I have is typically the texture on Japanese cards, even in low res, you can see it, and the texture on Japanese usually blows the English printing cards away. This is an English card. You can't even see the texture. I mean, you can see the hollow in the background or whatever. I mean, it's cool.
What version of this card is it? Because it's not the EX.
I think there's I can't confirm it was real or not, but someone pulled a Mew from just the normal Mew from the set.
The
Like a common or
celebration's just a
uncommon.
common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
just-
it like the common Mew in the Mew collection box? That promo? Do you know what I'm talking about? The
Yeah, I don't know if it's that one or not, but there is a Mew that has Psychic as its attack.
One? Okay.
Yeah, and the attack is for 2 psychics. You just do whatever 30 or 60
20
damage.
for each.
It's
on
yeah,
your
it's like
bonus
10
attack.
plus
Sucks.
40 for each energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. There's a regular Mew. It's a promo. It's promo 105.
Apart from what you said, yeah.
This attack does 40 more damage for each energy attached to your act. Wait, that's different.
No, it's the same. 40 more damage for each energy.
It's 10
attached.
plus 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 plus 40. Yeah, it's the same attack. Someone got their hands on the ETB insert for the 30th, right? And then they went to the back and they took pictures and threw it on the internet, so the whole world has it. So we have this full list of the illustration rares, and probably that same person that did that did all the cards anyway. So we have the full list of cards coming from 30th Celebration.
But they did not take a picture of the back of the ETB, which would show the BGRs if they're
Yeah, which is weird.
yeah. So
That's interesting.
Something else to think
I didn't
about.
think about that. So it is Tuesday, 11:24 p.m. in Tokyo right now, which means that we are 12:36, 60 hours away-ish from it being noon on Friday, 11:30 on Friday morning. So we're 60 hours away. We have no idea what the SARs are in the new Storm Emaralda set. We have the full set, all whatever, 76 cards. We have 2 illustration rares, a Growlithe and a Groudon. Yep. And maybe debatable, maybe not. I think that Rayquaza has, if not more, at least the same staying power as Charizard.
It's definitely up there.
It's not as
It's
recognizable.
Not like a mascot, but the people who love Pokemon really love Rayquaza. Like,
Yeah.
there's a big cult following Rayquaza.
And
for good
there's-
He's
reason.
like Umbreon level.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's unreal.
yeah, and there's not enough sets that have him in there. Like if you were to look up all of the Charizard cards or all the Umbreon cards, he's not as popular, right? But people love that Pokemon, and so no offense, Jack, to Darkrai and Greninja and Zygarde, actually has the power to probably hold a setup like Charizard does with Phantasmal, right? And so we don't even know what it looks like yet. And I don't think that's because, they're afraid of the cards or whatever. Pokemon doesn't care. They just put the product out. If they were afraid of cards, we would have never gotten perfect order. But we haven't seen it yet, which is interesting. Usually you start seeing it. People are starting to tear into it on Mondays on streaming. So,
Or even like 2 weeks before. It used to be we would see the reveals 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time for Japanese cards. It's the same. It's the same lady that has the wrap on her thumb.
yeah.
It's always I don't know who.
I feel like the last few sets though has been a lot later, like closer to release.
Yes.
recently, yeah,
Correct.
Yes, maybe they're clamping down in Japan.
That's a good transition later, and if we need to, we can jump right into it now. But my thought here is, once again, you don't have an official event going on. They don't have a opening of the new Pokemon amusement park. They don't have the museum. They don't have something to tack onto as an announcement. Oh, by the way, here's the new cards, right? They didn't do anything special at Skytree Town, right? So I had to look at my.
He just looks his hat. I'm like, I got notes about
Like
that.
at Minty Gym. What?
I got a cool pin from one of my buddies that just came back from Japan. Shout out to Alex. Anyway, they don't have anything to piggyback on for an announcement for cards, so that's why you haven't seen anything official. And my gut says it's 11:30. You probably got 2 hours left of streaming in Japan right now. We may see a couple more depending on how much gets pulled. But I would also imagine that whole squad of people that are doing the early release stuff are a little gun shy because of some of the news that's come out of Japan from a regulatory standpoint or a clamping down standpoint.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that if we zoom out for a second, it's real easy to live in Kansas and assume that the whole world revolves around me, and then in turn also revolves around, English-speaking United States.
We are America,
Right.
Chris.
And so
We are the world.
right now for Worlds, the format that we'll be playing is through Pitch Black, right? So it's including pitch black cards. Storm Emeralda is going to release. Worlds is in 4 weeks. It's not going to have Storm Emeralda cards available to play in Worlds. So Japan, according to TPCI rules, a set becomes legal to play in standard rotation 2 weeks after a set releases with a product that has either an ETB or booster box or booster bundle or something. Somebody can pull up and fact check me. But so Storm Emeralda is legal to play in Japan. Nobody else has it. And it's not scheduled to release in the U.S. till after 30th, right? We're in November, Jack, does that sound right?
In English, Delta Rain releases November 6th. It's the same day that the UPCs drop for the 30th.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun weekend.
Yeah. So you have this November 6th. Dudes, that's August, September, October. You got 3 full months of a rotation and access to, the Japanese will have access to cards that, I mean, everybody has access to them, but to play them in rotation that we don't have on TCG, on TCG Online, that we don't have in store, that is not a legal set for us. So if we're going to be like, we're going to run the store locals and cups and challenges, there's cups and challenges that are going to go on in English that don't have Storm Emeralda, but in Japan, their city leagues are going to have.
Yeah, and there's some cards that we discussed and more that have been revealed that I think could be pretty impactful to the meta. I mean, you've got all the new double stadiums, which people want to try out. You've got the new Talonflame EX. You've got.
Listen, man, you got the Meloetta tech with the 4 Rayquaza caps to be able to attack on your first turn and power up your whole people. So your
if I have a perfect 7 card and my opponent is not at the table, I can win.
I can win.
I mean, they just revealed another Legend Stadium. It turns off abilities of evolution Pokemon.
Yep.
They've released a Jomoa. I always get his name wrong. Komodo? Is that his name? That has the ability? Yeah, has the ability that accelerates all the energy. It's like Metal Maker basically for dragon types. I mean, everybody wants to try out Rayquaza, obviously. It's going to be really weird, the timing of it, especially after everything we've talked about over the last 6 months about Pokemon moving to 1-to-1s with Japan and trying to get a simultaneous release synced up. And then they push it to a 3-month difference with Delta Rain and Storm Emeralda. It's just really weird.
Dude, this set also has a common by Shinji Kanda.
Yeah.
And it also has a Giratina in it. That's a rare. And by the way, the Giratina is going to take the Slow King deck and give it another level. Yeah. Because the way the mechanics of the trading card game work is you can use Giratina's attack. And Giratina's attack is something along the lines of like do 120 damage, but protect your Pokemon from taking any damage of effects or anything. Like it puts a shield up on your Pokemon. But part of the Giratina's attack says if this Pokemon used this specific attack, whatever it's called, Death from Above or Giratina is awesome or all other legendaries suck. If that's the name of the attack, you can't use it next turn, but because Slow King doesn't use that attack, it uses Seek Inspiration. It can use it over and over and over again, and you can basically have a card that is a one prizer that has all this protection on it, right? So once again, people are starting to theory craft and put stuff together on paper and try to figure out how to play. And we're 3 months out from having it. We're 3.5 months out from it being in standard rotation, whereas Japan gets it access to it on Friday and then can start playing the games within 2 weeks. And so we got this weird thing going on. And then 30th is coming out. And I think from a playability standpoint, the Mew EX, which copies any of your attacks on the bench of any Pokemon, is going to be super beneficial. There's probably some other stuff that I'm not thinking of, but we're going to have these crazy different legal card pools for English speaking versus Japanese speaking. And once again, sorry to be so nerdy about the game, but you can't play the game according to the rules with Japanese cards and English cards because Japanese cards have a different back to them. At international competitions and like Worlds, you can have different language cards as long as none of them are Japanese sometimes because they have the same, that blue background. Jack will throw it up in post. So it's just really weird from a player perspective. And I also want to communicate, I don't think TPCI cares that much about the players. I think they're less than 0.5% of all the people that buy the cards, right? So they recognize that they've created a little bit of a cluster, but they don't really care much about it. But it's an interesting and weird thing. I think we were 5 months ago or 4 months ago, we were sitting here with Travis and we talked about how Pokemon doesn't miss. And like, this isn't necessarily a miss. I'm not saying it's a miss. I'm just saying it doesn't seem well thought out all the way through. It seems like they forgot something or they rushed something, or when they looked at the production ability for them to be able to print all of the Delta Rain? Delta Rain cards and print 30th, they couldn't do it at the same time, so they pushed back Delta Rain.
Why couldn't Pokemon just push Storm Emeralda back to November 6th to release the same time as Delta Rain?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why, if they're already doing simultaneous release for 30th, releasing it earlier on July 31st doesn't seem like they couldn't just hold production.
I think
for shipping.
when we talked about this, Shaq, I think they are cooking up a way to do simultaneous releases. It's just going to cause some headaches because One Piece did that where they released a set that didn't exist in English, EBO4, but they combined sets in English to catch up. And now in August, OP17 is a simultaneous release, the first ever. So I think there's going to be some pains to get there, but I think they're working towards that somehow. I don't see the vision.
Yeah, you were talking about
I don't see how there's a giant gap, but I think early next year they're going to... Egghead Crisis does not exist in English.
So
There's no EBO4, but they in OP14 and 15, they put half of EBO4 and 14 and half of EBO4 and 15.
Okay.
Japanese to
and
English.
then EBO4 came out in Japanese after 15. So it goes OP14, 15.
No. In Japanese, it came out before
No.
14?
You do a good job of keeping them in order, so we're just going to assume that this is right. So it goes Heroines, 15, EBO4, and then 16. But still, they went through some funkiness also.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff to get to the point of simultaneous release.
Yeah.
So they're maybe trying to do a 30th simultaneous release messed them up somehow in production.
I just don't know why.
I don't know.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
But
you know what? I don't make billions of dollars a year, and they probably know what they're doing. So
Yeah, it's not.
They're doing
Yeah,
something.
I want to be able to communicate. It's not that I think that they're doing anything wrong. It's just in the void of a narrative, people create their own, right? So we don't know what's going on. I did want to be able to. I was looking at some data last week.
while Krause is looking that up, Chewy wants to talk about this Growlithe card real quick.
He's so cute. Look at him.
I mean, I'll be honest.
I have a
man.
dog. I love dogs. And this reminds me of what my dog thinks he looks like when the door opens versus what he actually is, which is a maniac when people walk through the door. But he's just like greeting Goonie walking the door. It's just such a wholesome feeling that if you're not a pet owner, don't understand.
Yeah,
I love illustration rares.
Yeah.
I think they're great to have in the TCG. I like them more when it feels like there's something new and unique about them. Like, remember Spidops from Destined Rivals?
Yeah.
There's no other illustration rare like that with that comic book vibe and the all green. I don't know. I just feel like I need to see illustration rares I haven't seen before, and I feel like I've seen this Growlithe.
See, I like these types of illustration rares that are gets me immersed in the real world. I love the Pokemon that are working.
So you don't even live in the real world. How are you going to get immersed in the real
Well,
world?
it gives me an illusion. Like the Timber from the Temporal or Paradox, where he's just carrying lumber. Or was there
That's Twilight, wasn't it?
Or Metagross.
Yeah.
And there's one
Steelix.
Excadrill around with the workers. Those are cool. I like when they show arts of Pokemon with people.
Okay.
Or just in the world.
Doing
So you're a big fan of the trainers, SIRs like Ethan Toho, and that a lot of people hate on.
Yeah, I love them.
I like them too. I'm with you there.
Because I grew up playing the games and watching the show, and that's what you see.
Yeah, and we grew up with Gym Leader, Gym Challenge.
Yeah.
Those cards were dope.
So that's the stuff I like.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The Groudon's cool too, though.
Yeah, the Groudon. Do we like this one more than the Paradox one?
No.
No.
No. You think it'll go crazy like the Paradox one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though
People
there's a
love
Rayquaza
Gen
in this
3.
set to battle with it, because Paradox,
Yes.
there wasn't much
I mean,
of a Groudon to fight
depending-
with.
One thing, both could be awesome. And I'm hoping for Kyogre fans' sake, there's a Kyogre IR in this.
Yeah.
Kyogre hasn't gotten love since the Vivid Voltage Amazing
Cool if they
Rare,
connect-
or Shining Fates.
Connecting our Groudon Kyogre. What if all three connect to the Rayquaza SIR?
That'd be really cool.
That'd be pretty sick.
We're just over here just straight shooting copium and hopium.
That's all we do here at Mr. Jif.
I am kind of glad they didn't do an SIR for Groudon Kyogre yet. They're probably saving that for the rumored and coped up Gen 3 set.
So somebody pulls a BGR Groudon.
Okay.
And everybody.
Okay, so if we got in a time machine and go back to January 1st, 2010, there were 5 sets released in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and the Heart Gold, Soul Silver series was over. So in 2010, they released 4 sets of Pokemon: Triumphant, Undaunted, Unleashed, and Base Set, right? And so then there was one more February, etc. So you got 5 sets of Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Then Black and White dropped April 25th of 2011 and went all the way through 2013. So 12 total sets. So 11, 12, 13, 3 years, 12 sets, 4 sets a year. XY came out in February of 2014 and went all the way through November of 2016. This is English release, right? Not Japanese, English. That's 14 sets over 3 years. So now they're almost hitting 5 sets a year. Sun and Moon comes out February of 17 and its last set. Cosmic Eclipse releases November of 2019. So here's your theme. Your theme is the first set of the year is like the new era, the new series, and then generally speaking, the last set of the year 3 years later, like 2 calendar years later, is the last of that era. So in Sun and Moon, you had 16 sets. So over the course of 3 years, so that's over 5 sets a year. Sword and Shield, right, went all the way to Crown Zenith, and this is kind of where they broke it. So February 7th was base set 2020 of Sword and Shield, and Crown Zenith released January of 23. So that's 17 sets over the course of 3 years. So now you're almost getting to 6 sets a year. Scarlet and Violet release in 2023, and its last set was Black Bolt, White Flare, which released in July of 25.
Yeah, so Mega Evolution bucked the trend of the start of the year.
So Scarlet and Violet, according to the previous 2 series and almost like how everything else went, could have had 2 more sets.
Yeah.
And it would have been at 18, which is 6 a year. Now Mega Evolution came out, and Mega caught 2 sets, Base and Phantasmal, in 25, and Ascended Heroes, Perfect Chaos, Pitch Black is 4, and then we're going to get 30th, 5, and then we're going to get Delta Rain, which is 6. So now we're in a spot where for Sword and Shield, over the course of a year, I'm not talking the Crown Zenith set, which came out in January, 5 in 22, and they did 6 in 21, and they did 5 again in 2020. And the 6 sets in 2021 for Sword and Shield was Shining Fates, and then a month later Battle Styles came out. And then Celebrations came out in October, and then a month later Fusion Strike came out. So you got 2 small specialty sets in the middle. Small. Shining Fates is not small, right? Because it's got all the Shiny Vault in it. But you have this world where since COVID, we've been used to 5 sets. And most of the time it's 4 main sets and 1 specialty set. And we're going to have that same sort of thing go on here because we're going to have Ascended and Celebrations in the same year. But we're getting 6. We're getting 6 sets. And so that's a lot of Pokemon to be coming out. They released their numbers. They're still doing 10 plus billion cards printing, which if there's 10 cards in a pack, it's 1 billion packs a year, right? So we're in this spot where they've increased the amount of sets that they're releasing. The rhythm for releases has gotten shorter, and the funkiness of 30th Celebration and Storm Emeralda versus Delta Rain is going to be something that we'll talk about, and those that were in it knew, but in hindsight, it's not that big of a deal.
I want to zoom out even further because we've talked about this before. I know it's Japanese, but Aura Seeker releases November 27th. That is like 2.5 weeks after we get Delta Rain. So that means in English, we probably won't get Aura Seeker until January.
Yeah.
So if Mega Parade comes out after Aura Seeker, and that's going to be this year's Ascended Heroes, we won't get that until like
February, which that's
January for our Aura Seeker in English, and then usually we have to wait 2 months after that.
So usually, but when you go back and look at the historical dates of when they've done specialty sets, you can see there is precedent that they release a specialty set, and then because they don't have a booster box, they do 3 packs and 2 packs, and then they did it with they did it with Ascended. They had a release of booster bundles. The ETBs came out late, but their booster bundles released the same day that Perfect Order did. Do you remember that?
What they could do is they could do what they did with Delta Rain and 30th, and they could push the English Aura Seeker back to after the English Mega Parade comes out.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah. So once again, for context, VMAX Climax was released December 3rd. We got it in February, Crown Zenith, right? Terrestrial was released in December 17th, and we got it in January. I would assume January or very first week of February, we're getting whatever the high class set is,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, it doesn't feel like a watertight, lock solid strategy. And mostly that's just because we don't see the vision, right? You nailed it, Ali, when you said, hey, I don't see it. But it feels a little clunky right now. It feels, it doesn't feel like where we were at the beginning. At this point last year, what was being released at this point last year? Black Bolt White Flare came out a year ago today. And so Destin had just hit end of May, and Destin hit, and then Black Bolt hit, and then we were getting juice for Mega, right? They released the Mega cards at the World Championships, and then Phantasmal came out, and we saw that really cool Charizard with all with his whole evolution line, and then we went nuts over Ascended, and then
other sets,
sets have come out. But in that, it felt like things were rolling, and it just also happens, how fickle we are as humans, the fact that they hit 5 or 6 sets in a row. Prismatic hit, Destined hit, Black Bolt White Flare hit, Mega hit, Phantasmal hit. They hit 5 or 6 out of 7. Everything is perfect. And now all of a sudden we're in our 3rd set.
Yeah, they can't all be 10s.
That feels lackluster.
Can't all be 10s.
And so, we start to second guess or whatever, but.
All right, yeah. Let's keep this thing moving though.
Yep.
So let's jump into regulation in Japan. So Josh had found a tweeter, right, Chewy?
Yeah, kind of dang old tweeter.
A tweeter.
Dang old internet.
That was speaking about Japan potentially regulating the Pokemon TCG on the Japanese side.
It came from Bloomberg. It didn't come from like PokeBeach or anybody inside the Pokemon world. It came from Bloomberg. So Bloomberg put together an article for those of you that are super nerds. You know who Bloomberg is. If you don't, Bloomberg, not the ex-mayor of New York, his company, which is like the data and information and analytics behind a lot of stock trading. A lot of data comes from there to help people make decisions on what to buy and invest and stuff like that. So Bloomberg puts together an article that says Japan is looking at they're evaluating the regulation of Pokemon cards inside of the country of Japan. So real briefly, if Ali wants to do electrical work, to have someone pay him to do electrical work, generally speaking, you can moonlight. Ali needs to be certified as an electrician. And to be certified, you have to put time and effort into it. You pass a test. Driver's license in the United States are regulated, right? You have to pass a test. You have to go through a government organization to be able to get it. You have to have certain stipulations. You have to pay a fee. You're then registered. Then when you do something wrong, they can look at your registration versus whether it's current or not, whether you're legally allowed to operate. So, right, there are some people that are listening to this that are thinking regulation is the death. I'm not going to debate that, right? But regulation is where the government gets involved to control things. There are such things as deregulation, like the deregulation of public transportation in the mid-'70s, but in the United States. But anyway, so what was stated in the Bloomberg article was Japan does not want crypto or does not want Pokemon to turn into what crypto was, which crypto became centralized, like the central hub became like the US. So they want Pokemon to stay in Japan. They want the benefits there. And so they want to regulate it. What does that mean? Well, that could mean that you can't get access to Pokemon products unless you're an end user. Anybody that's listening to this podcast that's in the United States can get access to a driver's license or an electrician. You just have to go through specific channels, right? And so generally speaking, you can't monetize your license, your driver's license, unless you work for somebody else, right? Like you do Uber. You can't monetize an electrician coming to your house unless you're a general contractor, which then requires additional regulation, right? So being able to monetize a thing through regulation is difficult by nature. That's kind of part of the definition of it. And so effectively it removes the secondary market for sealed products in Japan. One way that Japan has been doing this for years, and we've talked about it often, is they remove the shrink wrap from their booster boxes. They don't have a ton of products like we do in the US. They get booster boxes and they get decks. And so this is an interesting way to play the game of how do you get your hands on product. It's really interesting. Who knows what it'll come out to, but the Bloomberg puts this article out and then immediately it's like stores are starting to implement facial recognition and ID verification for you to buy your stuff. And it's like, okay. And this is on the heels of, hey, you got to have your national ID. I mean, I think it's the equivalent of your social security number, your driver's license number to be able to buy stuff.
So what does this look like for us, like here in the US? Do we think that this may make Japanese product and Japanese cards more valuable because they're harder to get now that they're being regulated? If they're being regulated, whatever happens, how does this impact the average American that collects Pokemon?
Well, I think there's two responses. I think the first is, it adds friction to be able to get Japanese product. It's not very hard to get Japanese product. I mean, shoot, you go
Not
on
now, but yeah.
You go on Instagram and you type in Japanese Pokemon and you like 4 pictures and you're going to get 68 direct messages of people that are trying to wholesale directly to you and give you a Google Sheet spreadsheet and then tell you how to pay. It's not hard to get Japanese product right now. I think it adds a significant amount of friction. It reduces a bunch of people. It's similar to what people are doing in the retail world in the US where they are tearing seals on Target is, taking the seal, ripping the seal on an ETB. And then selling it at $60 or whatever. So I think that's number one. I think number two, of all of the people that we have in government that are able to make a decision or to present an idea, the 100 senators and 535 representatives, I think somebody's watching this. And I think there's a world where people try to do this because when the government can get their hands on things, they generally think that this may be too political. They think they can make it better when they can take a percentage off the top and it generally screws things up. Maybe that's a hot take. Maybe somebody thinks I'm an idiot for that. I don't think I'm too wrong there. So there's a long-term play here where Pokemon cards get regulated. But the problem in the US is our legal system is so crazy that if you regulate Pokemon, you're going to regulate baseball, you're going to regulate football, you're going to regulate One Piece. You're going to start regulating Matchbox.
Just all trading cards in general.
And well, then all collectibles become regulated. And that's not going to go very well. So I don't think there's anything there.
The great Pokemon prohibition, boys.
Yeah, right?
Start storing stuff, guys.
Yeah, legit. You got your trench coat and you're like, hey, man, you want some Storm Emeralda or
Kraus
some
becomes
Pitch
the
Black?
Al Capone of Pokemon in 2026.
And you're going to be like, dude.
And no one's going to buy Perfect Order.
You got any Ascended? You got any Ascended Hero? Nah, man, all I got's Perfect Order. I don't need Perfect Order. Right? So, yeah, I don't think it has long-term impacts here, but I think short-term, until the market figures it out, I think it does add quite a bit of friction into being able to get Japanese Pokemon.
It's interesting to think about, but just something I want to touch on a little bit there.
One less than 30-second piece. Any information that you hear about regulation and government and stuff, I'm doubling down on what I said last week, which is Japan doesn't care about anybody. TPCI doesn't care about anybody else but Japan. Like they're focused on Japan. They want the money to be in Japan. They want the product to be in Japan. They want the Japanese people to be able to celebrate it. And so have an impact on Europe or Oceania or Africa or South America or North America, I think is irrelevant. They don't care what those countries do. They want to protect their own country, which is part of coming back to the conversation that we had last week. That's a callback to where the idea was, well, this is going to impact the US. They don't care. They want to protect their country. They're nationalistic. They want the best for their country.
All right, what time is it? Chewy?
Tinker time.
Is it?
What is it, Chewy?
Is
Tinker
it?
time.
Me a Wookiee
Tinker
yell.
time.
Oh my God. Okay.
When we get 1 million subscribers on YouTube, I'll do a Wookiee.
Hell yeah, let's go. All right, Tinker time, boys.
50 likes on the
this week we got a
podcast and he'll
short
do
one.
it.
What was that?
50 likes on the podcast, he'll do it.
Okay, bet.
No.
We get that like every month. All right, Tinker time this week. Nice and short, guys. It's almost football season. We got preseason coming up. You guys like to rip Pokemon packs. It's kind of like gambling.
Yeah.
People gamble on sports books. So we're going to play over-under, okay?
Oh, boy.
Let's go. All right, so I'm going to give you just 5 little over-under options. You guys let me know your take on over or under, and you let me know why. All right, sound like a plan? First one, Kraus.
Yeah.
You're a massive Panthers fan.
Yeah.
Panthers, 10 wins, over or under?
Ooh, under.
Under? That was quick.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the added game in, that means they have to go 10-7.
10-7, you got Bryce Young coming on maybe. Tet McMillan showing up a bit. What do you think? Do you guys still Rico Dowdle?
Yeah.
How do you get 10 wins?
Let's go over. Let's hit the over.
So they got to get 11. Not tie at 10.
No.
They got to get
no,
11 or 9.
No, under. So
they're going to get 9.
Yeah, 10-7 I think wins the division.
Okay.
I think 10-7 is a
Chewy?
fantastic season.
Under.
He's so hesitant to say it as he sits next to Kraus. Yeah. That's funny. Cool. All right.
No, I'm a realist.
Next one. So we talked was it last week, maybe 2 weeks ago? A non-TCG mentioned 2.5 million ETBs. Pretty shortly after that, we had the Pokemon Center drop that lasted quite a while comparatively to most other Pokemon Center drops. 2.5 million ETBs printed over or under, guys? Do you think
The
that's
30th?
Yeah? Do you think it was too big of an estimation, or do you think it's right on par, a little over under?
We had this discussion. We got a little heated.
Yeah.
2.5 million.
Julie, we don't get heated. Just have like brotherly love.
Something like that. I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say over.
Over 2.5 million ETBs printed.
Over a certain amount, like initial? We're talking about initial? Or?
No, overall. Just
Overall,
that's
yeah.
overall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go 2.5.
Okay.
Over.
What do you think, Russ? You think Anon's on par
I was
there
doing
after
math.
the
That's
PC drop?
cheating.
Quick
Doing
researching.
calculations and
66 million packs. 2.5 million.
2.5 million ETBs was the overall estimate Anon gave, and then we had the PC drop like a day after that.
Under.
You think under?
Yeah.
I
I think the majority of products for 30th will not be in an ETB format. They're going to be in all the other SKUs.
I agree. I think it is actually under. I think it's closer to 2 million. I think you're about 500,000 over there. But
That's only 18,000 packs. If they printed 400 million packs in English in a year, 400 million, and you divide that by 6
Yeah.
for each set, that's 66 million packs.
I think based on what we saw from printing for the last 3 sets and how we had to wait so long for wave 2 of Chaos in Perfect Order, I don't think it's unrealistic to think that they printed double the amount of ETBs per 30th than they did at a normal set in the last 6 months. In the last 6 months, they averaged like 800,000 ETBs when we did the math guesstimate-wise. So double that, about 2 million.
I think they're
it's
going to
fair.
reprint. I mean, we didn't talk about today. Destin Rivals are getting another reprint of ETBs. Prismatic, their ETB run just finished,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to print it for next year and a half.
And I don't think ETBs is the best way for them to move the product.
Yeah.
They're going to end up doing a 14-pack
I think-
Sam's Club. They're going to end up doing a
Booster bundles.
they're going to end up doing the Pokeball tin and a booster bundle. I mean, from a pack per profit standpoint, I think the binder collection and the poster collection net them the most amount of money. Because looking at Black Bolt, White Flare, those are what sell the most of.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fair.
It's not the premium figures, right? So I don't think that, even though that's the flagship product, I think the Ditto collection goes first. I think then you're going to have some ETBs sitting around, but I think the majority of the time you're going to have people buying 3 and 4 pack products to try to get a whole bunch of products for it. Yes, I don't think it's ETBs. I think there's going to be plenty printed, but it's not going to be an ETB format. I think we're going to see
When's the last time you saw a Prismatic poster collection be printed?
the posters.
Or no, it's not posters, binders.
It's been a minute.
Figures,
You're
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But they're still printing Black Bolt, White Flare binder collections.
Yeah.
Or
Sorry, we
releasing
continue.
them.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Storm Emeralda drops Friday. Delta Ray November 6th. We have not seen a single SIR. We know Rayquaza's getting one.
Oh, we saw the Metapod line. That one's real,
the
right?
Metaquaza.
Yeah.
Over under on Malamar, Mega Malamar EX getting an SIR
Yes.
in Delta Rain.
Yes. Over. I
Over?
mean, yes.
Yeah.
They do that. That
Oh, yeah.
happens.
What's the other options? I think Talonflame's going to get one. So it could be Mega Golurk.
Ooh.
Mega
Yeah.
Golurk's in the set.
Let me look at the set real quick just to make sure.
I do think I think over on Mega Malamar. I think he is going to get one.
Mega Galisipod.
Mega Glycopod, he could get one. They gave
If they
Glycopod
do
one.
a heat rotom, we riot.
They could.
Wishy
Well, they
washy.
did wrote him in Phantasmal.
They could do a Raikou.
They could do Raikou.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
I would love that.
Actually,
Yeah.
I bet Raikou gets one.
So
So let me think. So in
Mega
Pitch Black
Golurk.
was Morpeko the only non-Mega SIR?
I think so. Yeah.
So does each Mega set get typically one non-Mega EX? that's
Yeah.
an SIR? Like
Please be
Chinchino
Raikou.
and Chaos.
Please be right.
So it'd be Raikou or Talonflame.
Talonflame
I
is
think-
kind of IR and perfect. We don't need it. Or Chaos, one of those two.
Yeah. I mean, you only get to choose Talonflame, Rayquaza, Malamar,
Golisopod.
Golurk, Raikou, Wishy Washy. It's going to be Wishy Washy, by the
Please
way.
don't be wishy.
Heat Rotom, and Galisipod.
I don't think it'll be Heat Rotom because we got a Rotom SIR and
I
Phantasm.
forgot how Mega Malamar looked. As stupid as I remembered. Oh my god. What's happening?
He's growing on me.
He's okay.
Yeah.
We have a whole discussion on the new megas, and I'll rant for an hour.
I hope Raikou, it's probably going to be Talonflame. I don't think they care much about what came out in previous sets. Ollie.
Talonflame's more playable, but I think Raikou has more appeal from as a legendary that they might.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Raikou and if you go Raikou, Groudon, and Rayquaza in a set with special arts,
That'd be nuts.
we have 3 hits, right?
Probably, yeah.
What do we have 3 hits in anything in the last 3 sets?
Meowth SIR, Meowth Full Art, Meowth VX.
all right. We're out of time. So the last one.
We're never out of time.
We're out of
We're
time.
in
One
charge.
more.
We had 32 SIRs in Ascend of Heroes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We learned, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about Mega Parade being trademarked as the next high class pack set.
Bro, you say we. I hadn't heard that till you said it earlier. I just acted like I
forgot
knew.
about it, yeah.
well, now,
Mega Parade.
That's what I'm here for, boys. All right, so over under that Mega Parade hits 32 SIRs like Ascended.
32 SARs?
Just like Ascended. Ascended had 32 SIRs.
It'll be close. I don't know if it's going to be above, but it'll be within a 4 or 5.
I'm going under.
Yeah,
Did
under.
they last 32?
But high 20s. I mean, what'd they do with Terrestrial? Crown Zenith got a whole Galarian gallery, right? Yeah, so it'll be close, right? But it's going to be in the same vein.
This will be a new sort of treatment like the attack rares that they'll add into
Yeah,
supplement the numbers.
I just hope they don't skip the illustration rares or whatever, right?
Yeah, let's hope.
I hope they drop the Pokeball treatments.
Who said that?
This guy who's got 2 thumbs and hates
Please
those
for the
as the
master
hits.
set, please stop it. Please.
golly.
I think it's going to be under. I think we get like 30. But yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you next week. Thank you again to Chewy for filling in for Trav today.
Yeah.
And, have a great weekend, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you. Bye.